However, we must now confront the number one issue architects have with getting affluent clients and getting into the high-end resi market. And this is especially true if you're not used to working with these types of people. The biggest difficulty I see with architects who want to get high-end, high-value affluent clients is the psychological barrier of dealing with people of a higher net worth than themselves. They just get in their own way because they focus on the gap because where they are financially to where the clients are financially. It's all in their heads. I can't stress enough the importance of not being in awe of these people and not being in awe of people of a high net worth. And this is why people fail to earn what they are truly worth. So we're going to put this into perspective and look at one of the wealthiest guys on the planet, for example, and that's Bill Gates. If you spent a week with Bill Gates, we'd see him doing stuff that we would consider completely idiotic. I have personally found that super affluent clients are often more dysfunctional than we'll ever be. They are also prone to emotional manipulation as the rest of us, maybe more so don't be intimidated. So to illustrate this point, let's look at examples of how dumb rich people can be. I'm going to share with you just how easy it is to sucker rich people into parting with their hard-earned cash. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting we undertake these dirty, low-grade, deceitful tactics. We should only act with integrity and having our clients' best interests at heart. I'm only sharing these stories to illustrate that affluent people are no better than any of us. In many cases, they are complete fools. There's a famous con job that has been doing the rounds for centuries, and it's called the black box con or the long con. And the con is that you have something incredibly valuable that can do wondrous things, and you are looking for investment in it. However, it's so valuable that you keep it in a box and no one can see it. Basically, it's selling magic beans without you actually seeing the beans. They just have to take your word for it. And if this sounds like the complete horseshit, well, that's because it is. Let me explain. So black box con example number one, Bernie Madoff. So who here remembers this guy? Well, Bernie Madoff was an investment broker that made a black box con out of investments and the returns he could get for the people who invested in it. He scammed billions from wealthy people, a lot of whom should have known better. And as I said, his shtick was that he could give massive returns on the money that was invested. And all this magic happened on the 5th floor of his office building. And guess what? No one was allowed to see it or visit it. And all his clients were super wealthy and they never questioned it at all. And he swindled them out of billions. The next one is the Homestake oil swindle, which scammed the Secretary of the US Treasury, the head of Citibank, and even the actor Bob Hope fell for it. And what they did here was they placed some pipes sticking out of the ground on some land they acquired. And then they would fly people over the pipes in a helicopter and tell them how miraculous the oil extraction process was and the massive returns they would make in their investments. And of course, there was no oil. It was just a few UPVC pipes sticking out of the ground. And it was, of course, a con. Now, let how ridiculous that one sink in. And they con people to the tune of $100 million. This one is Theranos, and this one was done by a lady named Elizabeth Holmes. And she played this one so well that at its height, it even got her on the cover of Forbes magazine, where she was dressed up like Steve Jobs promoting her company. This was a black box con about some piece of kit that was going to revolutionize the way we test people for diseases. The Walmart family invested $150 million into it. The DeVos family invested $100 million. Holmes brought in $746 million altogether, so it's not too shabby at all. And of course, in true black box fashion, you couldn't visit the lab where this magic blood testing kit was being developed and used, and the results they did issue were fraudulent. So are you beginning to see a pattern in each of these scams? And it gets even better. People who were previously ripped off by Bernie Madoff invested in this thing too. Not kidding. They didn't even learn the first time around. So can you see how dumb these people can be? Listen, here's the truth about affluent people. Here's the deal with them. Sure, they are smart at some things that got them their money, but they are dumb as a bag of hammers when it comes to others. You can't be intimidated by these people because they are not better than you. You can't be intimidated if you want to sell your architectural services significantly upwards from where you are now. So, after seeing this, do you now feel more confident about going after and dealing with affluent clientele? Do you see yourself taking the plunge into this market?